Here, a lot of people calling for you to resign, and there are some numbers behind it. The latest poll, 78% of voters in your district said earlier this year that you should resign, 13% saying you shouldn't. In another poll of your favorability, Democrats, 89% said you should resign, 72% of independents, 71% of Republicans say you should step down. Does any of that matter to you?
Those polls were done in January, right? So January, the media had control of the narrative. I couldn't get a word in. I tried. And then I said, you know what? No. That's why I didn't start talking to the media far until probably, I want to say March, April. That's when I really started like, okay, let's try to go out there. Perhaps not the smartest approach. I'm a novice at this, right? So I challenge, look, obviously we're running polls of our own, but I challenge the media to go back out. I mean, Newsday should go out and do another poll.
And if they did do another poll and there was still an overwhelming number of Republicans, people in your district saying you should resign, would you consider it?
Look, Dan, the reality is no. Right, because the polls ordered by Newsday, I'm not behind the parameters of what's going on there, right? So I'll do my own poll. I'll assess it the way I do it. Look, I know the reaction I have with constituents. I'm the one out there. I'm the one in the district. I'm the one going into the grocery store to pick up my groceries, and people come up to me and thank me for being resilient, for being strong, for standing up for what I believe in, and for voting the way I promised them I would. At the end of the day, this is all about my campaign promises. I've stuck to every single one of them. I haven't changed on a single position. I've stuck through. I voted absolutely based on my promises and on campaign promises in the House to make sure that people understood I'm not a sellout. I'm not self-serving. I am serving them. I said I wouldn't vote to raise the national debt limit unless we had a SALT provision, and I stuck to that. Do you know how hard it is to go against your party in the situation that I am? Pretty fragile state and position, and go against your speaker, somebody who's been a wonderful leader in the party and quite frankly, very fair to me, right?
But the speaker has said that he would not support your
100%
reelection.
Yes,
right?
he has. Yes. So for me to go out there and take a vote like that, you know how difficult that is. I think anybody can assess that the difficulty of doing that. But I guess, I rather go down and go out sticking true to my principles and beliefs.
You talked about people who come up to you, right? And there's a lot of positive. I'm sure that's true. Do you get people who are negative,
of course,
angry, or saying, Santos, you fooled me, Santos, you liar?
Well, here's the deal. I haven't encountered personally a single voter of mine who's told me, I voted for you and I hate you. I encounter a lot of the people who originally didn't vote for me. They come into my office, they parade outside my office, and I'm okay with that, right? I hope the other day, if you go on my social media, Rep. George Santos on all social media, you'll see the video, right? Where I was sitting in the office, they came in, pro-abortionists, they were Planned Parenthood folks. I sat with them, and we kind of agree to disagree on certain things, but I think we all agree at one point that abortion shouldn't be banned nationally. I think that's a great starting point, right? Nikki Haley last night said the same thing, and I think we can all agree on that. Abortion shouldn't be banned. I think we shouldn't have late-term abortion. I think we can have these difficult discussions, but we need to stop running away from these tough discussions. And I'm not running away from the tough people. And look, I love sitting down on the phone or in person with people who are upset with me, because I get to sit and talk to them. And there's plenty of people, because I do it a lot. I pick up the phone in my office when I have a break in the schedule, and I take the call. My staff is there being, a little berated. I'm like, give me the phone. I talk. It's a 20-minute later. All right, you have a nice day, ma'am. Well, it was great talking to you. This was actually productive. This happens a lot. We have some recordings. We're not releasing them for privacy purposes, but we keep it just, so we can remind ourselves. There's always a way to mediate and have conversations.
You think you're running for re-election?
Yes, I am.
You have any chance? I've got to believe you've got almost no chance. Am I wrong?
Look, remember Chris Collins, upstate New York? He was reelected under indictment. We've had members of Congress on both sides of the aisle get reelected under indictment, because you're innocent until proven guilty.
That's true.
So if we don't have that, we're eliminating the due process here by admitting guilt. I'm not guilty of anything until that's proven.
Well, you've admitted that you're responsible for your lies, right? I'm not saying guilty in a court of law.
You know what, Dad? I wish every politician that got caught fibbing would go on national television and get scolded like I did by Tulsi Gabbard. I'd love to see Blumenthal do it. I'd love to see Elizabeth Warren. I'd love to see the President of the United States do it. 40 years lying to the American people, continues to lie to the American people, and doesn't admit to it. It's always, oh, that was a Freudian slip. Oh, that was, well, he misspoke.
But you think it's comparable? Do you think that the kinds of lies you told are
top
comparable?
Of his class in law school, a scholarship. None of that was real. Hey, draws inspiration, man.
To you.
I'm not saying to me, but
because there are a lot of Republicans who are talking about primarying you, right?
That's fine.
Yeah.
The more the merrier. I love it.
But is it why would you love it? I mean, you know.
Well, of course it is. First of all, I've never experienced a primary, right? So it'd be very interesting to see what that experience is. I've run 2 times uncontested, right? So, secondly, it's a very logical political way. There's the pro-Santos support and there's the anti-Santos support. Right now, as it shows us, in a Republican primary with primary voters, there's more pro-Santos voters by a little than there are anti.
Really?
Yes.
That's according to internal polls?
Yes. So if you look at it that way, and I'll put it this way, I can have as little, with the current field, I can have as little as 30% in coastal reelection, at least on a primary side, and be the general candidate. Why? Because they're going to split up the anti-Santos vote.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.